Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's doing well. Got a little special project today. The task at hand is won't take throttle. So like you crank it up, the customer says you crank it up, it idles perfectly. He hauled it out west and got out there and it wouldn't take throttle. So let's check it over, see what it needs. I'm going to suspect possibly there's contamination in the gas tank or rust or something like that. So worked on this a year or so ago and fixed the carburetor and everything was good, and now it won't take throttle after a while. So let's see what we see. Also, he has a aftermarket master cylinder on here, and he got me a Yamaha when I suggested that last time because it's kind of spongy and it's just cheaper. So we're going to fix that up and anything else it needs, and it's going to be for sale. So it's a good little bike. It was a farm bike for a lot of its life, but it's been took care of. We're going to get it back nursed to health. If it's something you're interested in, we're here in the southeast, in South Carolina. Be a good little bike for somebody. It's not flawless, but it's solid. So we're going to get it nursed back to health. Shoot me an email or a direct message on Facebook or Instagram, either one. The links are up there in the About section. Let me know if anybody's interested in it. But let's get it rolling, and I'll get some more info on what he wants for it and stuff like that. I'll have an answer for you guys if anybody's interested in it, but let's get it rolling. I did have this bike where it would pretty much crank with no choke. I think 3 turns out on the air screw. Let's see what it does here. Okay. So it's idling pretty decent. No high beam. We'll have to see if we can fix that for him. Indicator's working. Yep, the signals are working good. That's good. Alright, let's see. Whoops. Just to check the flow height. Let's see what it does with the choke out. Acts like it's starting for fuel, please. Yeah, I think the petcock stopped up, but let's check. Alright, first act of business, let's check down in the tank. That actually looks pretty decent. Yeah, not bad. I think we might have a stopped up pilot jet. Let's run it here with the lid off, just to make sure we don't have a clogged up vent, because this cap looks a little rough, doesn't it? Might throw that in the sonic cleaner for a bit. Almost like it got ethanol corrosion. gonna do is take the petcock loose and see what kind of flow we got. But now it sounds pretty good. Lid off of it. Looks like it had a vacuum put on the tank. So that's pretty good. Let's see how the pilot sounds. Fuel smells pretty old and it's smoking a little bit, maybe because of bad fuel, but let's keep looking here some. Alright, let's clip this off here and let's see what kind of flow we're getting out of this with the cap on versus cap off. Alright, let's do on first. You guys keep your eye right here on this line. So that's pretty good flow. Let's give that just a second here, make sure. Oh yeah. Alright, let's check reserve. Yeah, really good. So let's put the cap on. Now he took this spike out west, which can change a few things about the atmospheric pressure. So I don't know if that might have something to do with it. But let's put this cap on just like it would have been after a fill up. Alright, so let's let it drain out here just a second and see if it stops coming out. So far that's pretty good. Let's try it on reserve. That's where I had it. That has some water in it. Let me get something to check it. Alright, here goes my little homemade fuel tester. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but something really cool you can do to check for ethanol. Get you a clear bottle, can, it's anything that's clear, bottle, glass jar, divide it into 10 parts and put a line at 1/10 and put tap water in here, fill it with fuel, and the tap water will instantly extract the ethanol. Not necessarily instantly, for the most part it will, but if you leave it sit for a little while, it'll really pull it all out. So the ethanol is clear, as same as water, and then the fuel will have a little yellow tint to it, and that line moves up the more ethanol. So if you had 50% ethanol, it'd be up here. Let's put a little bit in here. I just want to check this for water. I'm not really too worried about the ethanol content right now, and the color and stuff. This is looking pretty decent. We're going to let it come out here, start running out here. As it runs, I'm going to take this lid off and we're going to see if the speed of the flow picks up. Alright, so let's put it on reserve. It's where I had it before. And let's keep a really keen eye on this stream here as I take this cap off and see if it gets bigger. Oh, it's about the same, huh? Now you see here, as I keep my hand pushed on this, it's eventually going to stop coming out altogether. Look at that. Now watch this. Bam. So what you get is like it can't vent, and it vents through this cap. And the looks of this cap, man, I think we may just try to get him a new one. I may have fixed this cap temporarily by taking it off. But you see, as long as I've got my hand capped over that, we're getting nothing. Now watch this. Yeah. Okay. So let's just make sure we can't get this cap to do that same thing here for us. At the moment, it actually is okay. Well, let's let it run here a little bit and see if we can duplicate it with it running again. That revs right up now. I should have looked in that filter And I didn't think about it, but actually if it's stopped up, it can still kind of lock and not pull it all out of there. Let's take a little quick look at his air filter while it's idling here. Yeah, looks good still. Real good. Still oily. Okay. Well, you can't really beat how that's running. I think the vent's gonna be right in that. Probably.
Does that center come out?
It might.
Oh, has it got a screw?
Got 2 screws right here, yeah. See that lock slides in.
Yeah. Where's that spring at? Oh, in that right here. That spring.
Oh, I don't even know, to be honest with you. See, I would say the vent is that little check ball right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say so. It's crusty.
Just let that wash, I guess.
Well, you don't think it'll fall out of there, do you?
I don't think it will. Them two and this, I guess, be good enough, won't it?
Yeah. It ain't too hot to melt that, is it?
Nah. Better than buying a new one if it works. We're gonna have this piece, and this is gonna be the piece that actually latches down in the tank and holds it with these two things here. All right, so this little washer here, it's kind of crusty. Let's put just a little bit of oil on it, curl here, and this will help their key to turn a little easier, I believe. Yeah. All right, then we'll have this piece. And you don't really want any heavy grease on this because that kind of needs to be dry, but a little bit of oil, just this lightweight curl here, will definitely help them slide a little bit. All right, now I'm gonna go down just like that when it pushes down against that spring. And then these locking mechanisms, these springs are going to go in them like that. And I'll like put a little Vaseline on them, and that'll hold them down in there. Like so. The key in here and got all that lined up, and that way everything will be straight across. It'll be in the lock position. It'll be a whole lot easier to do it, I believe. So let's see if we can do this here. You're kind of fighting against the spring a little bit, but it's not super strong. So maybe you can get your screws started. You kind of just want to make sure everything lines up and fits pretty good there. Just gently snug these to begin with, and we'll make sure our lock mechanism works here. Oh yeah, and I mean, it glides now, man. Really nice. All right, let's snug these on up. I'm gonna put just a little of this oil on these screw heads. I should have put them in the washer and didn't do it. Uh-oh. This curl's good stuff, man. I think I have it on my Amazon store. All right. Yeah, that feels really good. All right, let's see if we can get this sealed. I'm gonna put, so this seal was turned this way, And I think I'm gonna leave it like that. It actually needs a new one. But let's put a little Vaseline on it. We might see if we can order him one. Get it coated up here good so it'll seal and soften it up a little bit. All right, and we'll just stretch it over everything. You have to get it over these little tabs. Technically should probably put it down in there first, but it kind of gets in the way. Tuck these down around that like that, and around this one. Now, and you got it. That's all there is to it. Make sure it pushes down in there all the way around. Yep. All there is to it. Perfect. All right, let's see what we got here. Yeah, nice new OE master cylinder here. And I think what we're going to do is bench bleed it. Let's see. Alright, I think what we'll do is fill it up. We'll see if we can bench bleed it here on the bench. I like to use Doc 4 in all the bikes. It seems to do a little better. What you want to do to bench bleed it is put your finger over the outlet, slowly push the piston in, and let the fluid come out around your finger. Let up gently. Go all the way in, then put your finger back over it and let off. And continue to do that until you get nothing but pure fluid out. And this will make the bleeding procedure so much easier. Alright, so 14, 12, or 10, 12, 14, and a 10 ratchet. And we'll get it started. I think that's all we need. First act of business. Let's get this mirror off. It's going to be a 14 millimeter. Get that out of our way first. Put that back on our new master cylinder. That gets our handle out of the way. Alright, and inside here you're going to have a little return spring. You don't want to lose that. Slide that out. There's a little hole up in there that retains that. Then we just have these two tins here left. Let's get them out, and we'll also have a brake light switch we'll have to disconnect as well. I like to get this over here where you can see it before. Oh yeah, can't forget the line before you take that loose. Break that line loose. What I like to do on it's a 12 millimeter. Break it loose before you loosen the master. I just forgot. And then just kind of snug it back where it's not dripping. And then we'll get it over here out of the way. Put a rag where we don't get that brake fluid on the paint, because brake fluid is a really good paint stripper. There's only a couple of things in this world, chemical-wise, you'll find in an automotive shop or a garage that affects clear coat on paint. And it's paint stripper, and the other one is brake fluid. Alright, now I don't really remember how to release this. There's maybe a barb right there. Let's see. Yeah, okay. See the little barb there? So this switch is still good, and we can switch that over. Let me get something to catch this brake fluid here. So let's put our switch back in. Snaps right in, that's good. And the position of this is total preference to how you like to feel the pedal or the lever. I personally like the lever down a little bit, but you can adjust that any way you like. You see how that lever's down some. So we'll snug that up for the time being, and we can always come back and adjust it. All right, let's get our handle on. Got this spring here, I'm gonna put a little oil on it because it's a little greasy or a little rusty. And there's a little small hole up in there that it goes in. Right there. There's only one place it can go. And as you see, there's a little hole there that spring goes up in. So you want to make sure it slides up in there. Now what I like to do, guys, on this particular job, gently snug this and use this for the tightening. That way you don't crimp down on this. Even though it's a shoulder bolt, you still want this free. And we'll gently snug this one. And then give it a pretty good bit of tightening and just make sure that this will return pretty good. I'm going to put my finger over it and then quickly let's start this. And you don't want to cross thread this if you can help it, because Yamaha does not give these away. I imagine that's fairly expensive. Alright, now what I like to do here, get you a rag, put it here, get this pretty snug and then gently break it loose, okay? Now let's push this all the way down and hold it here. Don't let it back up, and then snug this. Oh yeah, see that air? Do that a cut. Now let's pump it some. And if we have to, we'll go down and bleed it at the wheel, but we probably won't have to. Alright, let's break it loose here gently. Looks like pretty much all but nothing but fluid there. That's good. Oh yeah, that feels pretty good. Alright. And if you accidentally get it just a little bit too full, I usually use a rag. Let it wick some of it out. And don't forget, guys, you can go to the my Amazon store will be in the link below for these JIS screwdrivers. As I've said a million times, but if you haven't seen my videos, Japanese screws take a special Japanese screwdriver. This is not an American Phillips. I know it looks like it, but it's not. That fits the screw way better. That's why you see a lot of carb bowl screws stripped out. I tell everybody, get you a JIS screwdriver. They're very affordable. This one actually is an impact one. You can hit it here and it'll actually turn in left 12 degrees when you hit it. So if you got a screw that's really stubborn, you can smack it with a dead blow and it'll bring it out of there. Well, I may ride it some and bleed it one more time, but that feels pretty good. I feel pretty good about that. All right, so let's give it a real good test drive, and we'll come back and change the oil, and that'll be good. All right, and you guys know watch the channel. You know that we always use motorcycle oil here for wet clutches. Now, this particular oil here is fine. This is 1030. I'm talking about the jug here. This is actually Honda GN4 in this, because I took this jug out of town with me. But this oil here, it does not say anywhere on it for motorcycles. This is diesel oil T4 1030. You can pick this up at O'Reilly's, cheap. And this is fine for wet clutches. It doesn't have any friction modifiers in it. And their T6 is good for bikes too, and it's advertised as good for bikes. But we're gonna put just under a quart here and check it. You always want the bike perfectly level to check the level as well. Pretty good, just under a quart. That's dead on it. All right, we'll snug that up good. All right, guys, we are ready for a good old test drive. Well, I didn't get it on camera, but I took it out for a little ride, and it was doing perfect, and it ended up dying on me again. So I think the first thing we're gonna do is try to check the float level on it, and we may end up pulling this carb off. I'm not really sure what's going on, but when you go to wide open throttle, it just dies. So, and then it takes it forever to crank back. So I don't know if we might have a clogged up jet or a float level off or something. But I think what we're gonna do is I'm gonna get it running here, and I'm gonna get it running here, and we'll see how much fuel we got in the carb bowl. I'll show you guys how we'll do that. So it runs pretty good at idle from what I could tell. Let's choke it. So it pretty much runs fairly decent at idle, even cold. But as soon as you try to give it throttle, it dies. Just actually sounds a little bit lean to me. It sort of acts like it might be detonating even a little here at idle. I'm not sure, but something's weird. Alright, so it has the fuel on. It's actually all reserve, but that doesn't matter. I'm going to loosen this here. We're going to see how much fuel we get here. Alright, so what you do to get the float level is you start bringing this down until you get fuel out here. And we're pretty good. It could be just a touch low. It's about right there. That's decent though. Strange. Alright guys, before I take the tank and everything off, This is an awesome little thing that I've had for a long time. Well, not this particular one. My other one grew legs, but this Motion Pro IV bottle works really good. And this kind of rules out anything to do with the petcock, the gas tank, fuel line. So if it revs up here, we've got fuel flow here. If it revs up here, we know that it's maybe this filter or the petcock or something, but I'm getting great fuel flow out of there, so I don't think that's what it is. Let's let the bowl fill up good, let it warm up just a minute here, and then we'll rev it up and see if it dies out. If it does, the carb's gonna have to come off of it for sure. So as you can see, it's still dying out. I had a TW one time that the coil would let it idle, but that was it. And I want to make sure this is a little inductive coil tester, works really good, Wacom, and I'll show you guys. So you can see it's beeping and lighting up. So let's see if that continues while we try to see if it's breaking down here. No, the coil's staying on. Okay, that's good. Yeah, so Yeah. Okay, so it's still firing, which is a good thing. Alright, looks like we're going to have to take the carb off. So I don't suspect the float level because it ran forever with no fuel hook to it. Go ahead and take this throttle off, I believe I can. All right. There we go. All right, let's see what we see. Let's start with the bowl. I've got a suspicion we may have an issue with the diaphragm, but anywhere over quarter throttle to wide open throttle, we lose it. So it kind of makes me think it very well could be oh, hold on. Uh-oh. Somebody might have got some ethanol. Look here. Look at that. That's our culprit. Look at that gummy jump. Look at that. Well, that'll do it. And our main pickup for the main jet goes right down in under this little plastic thing. Look there. Look at that. That right there, my friends, is what ethanol does. It makes snot. Well, look no further. That's the problem. And what was happening is this main jet here, oh, it's completely clogged. I can tell by looking at it. It sits right down in here, and maybe when I rode it one time, that stuff moved off to the side. But we're going to have to wash this out good and pretty much do a whole carb job on it. Well, I hate that, but hey, at least we found it. Alright, so let's get this main out here. Yep, at some point he's gotten some ethanol fuel. Whether, yeah, that's completely stopped up all the way, man. Not one bit of daylight through that hardly at all. Let's see if we can get the pilot out. This old junk screwdriver's had it, but it's perfect for getting pilots out. Just the perfect size. Partially clogged in the pilot. Man, I hate that. Ethanol just can really... And there's a couple of stations, I won't call any names, one really in particular around here that sells regular fuel and it has ethanol in it. I hate to hear that. Alright, let's count the turns on the air screw and get it out. There's 1, 2, 2.5. I've got a little hook tool that I made that usually will get these O-rings out pretty good. Let's see. Yeah. So there is your spring. So you got a washer, O-ring, spring, and then the spacer. Okay. Support it with a block of wood, and I have this automatic center punch from Lyle, and it usually gets it right out of there. Let's see. Yep. Try to grab this on the end as good as you can. Yep, right out. Okay, great. The main reason I wanted to take this out, I want to get this seat out because there's an O-ring that the ethanol can affect, and there's a screen underneath it as well. Man. Alright, I'd like to do a little bit of WD-40 around this outside edge here. Loosen that O-ring up. Let that work in for a second. And we'll gently grab this. And I mean ever so gently. Work it out. Okay, yeah, come right out. So the screen on it is made onto the end of it, and it's not too bad. It looks pretty good, but that's a good idea to clean that. And then sometimes you look down in here and see a bunch of trash, and this one isn't too bad, luckily. Alright, diaphragm coming out. Alright, so we want to look at this really good and make sure we don't have any cuts around this edge here. It actually looks pretty good, and our needle looks decent. It's clogged right up though. We'll go ahead and put it in the washer. Let it clean up good, and then I'm going to take this choke off. See what that does when air hits that. It just turns into powder. Good old ethanol right there for you. Alright, let's gently get this gasket out. It looks pretty good, but the hot temperature of the parts washer could mess it up. Alright, drop our jets in. Got it pretty hot, pretty clean water in there, and I use SoCar Burst in mine. Let's lower this down in. And our bowl. Ooh, it's hot. Let's give it about 10 minutes. 11. Alright guys, something pretty cool here. I'm a Partzilla dealer, commercial dealer, but anybody can go on their website and buy wholesale parts. I really enjoy using Partzilla. I'm not sponsored by them in any way. Other than being, you know, a wholesaler for them. But they don't pay me to say this. But here's a cool thing. Now you can look here, pull up, go to 05 TW200 or whatever bike you're working on. There's that air jet that was in question, and it definitely has jet, spring, spacer, and then the O-ring. You can tell by looking at it. So. And then on some of them it'll actually break it down and say what it is, but that's how that works. And I thought, because you always want the spacer on top of the O-ring, because if you don't, the spring crushes down on the O-ring and it can't really do its job. So we'll get us a new O-ring and get that fixed up as well. Customer actually had a brand new OE Jet 125. We're gonna the main. We're gonna run that. And I'll clean that pilot really good. Alright, after a nice steam bath, she's pretty clean. Whew, that's hot though. Oh boy, it's hot. Oh yeah, look at that. That looks really good. Nice. So we'll run the new jet on the emulsion tube. I'll clean the emulsion tube up good. We found a new new O-ring and spacer for the air screw, and I'll see if I can get this pilot cleaned up. This was actually a new pilot when I rebuilt it last time, I think. And I may have possibly had that O-ring and spacer in backwards according to the way it came apart, but I normally try to put it back like it's supposed to be, but I may have messed that up, and but it sure did idle good. I have, believe it or not, I have made mistakes for sure, but I have reached down in there and tried to pick that out with my little tool I made, this one, and it flips it around and comes out backwards, and it fools me sometimes. But I want to say this was brand new as a kit, and the O-ring and spacer were on it, pushed down on there already with some Vaseline. Let's see if we can get this pilot cleaned out. I'm still not really able to see anything through it, but a lot of times the heat and the soap will loosen up this junk. Let's see what we can do. So one cool thing I do have is a rubber tip blow nozzle, and I can put these pilots in here and blow through, and I'm pretty sure I've got it unclogged now. I can see some daylight through it, and I'm gonna keep working with it and make sure it's completely unclogged, but I'm almost positive. I feel a real good stream of air coming out of that. Pretty good trick you guys can do in a pinch here. This is just a piece of wire, like 18 gauge wire or something. It's got pretty fine strands. What I do, stick it down on there and give this wire a couple little kinks in it, and just work it out and pack past those kinks, spin it. I like to put a little bit of WD-40 or some kind of lubricant and cleaner of some sort. Pull it back and forth over that kink, and you'll feel it drag. And then once you straighten the kink out, make sure it goes back through pretty easily like this. And you can spin it, move it around, and this will definitely help get some of the junk out of that jet. This jet's fairly new, so I didn't want to get rid of it, but I think we got it cleaned out good. Make sure you always hold it to the light. You want a good perfectly round air hole that you can see all daylight through it all the way. All right, we're gonna let me dry this out really good, and we'll get it back together. I did forget to tell you guys, I forgot to look at this diaphragm. Out of 100 carbs that I've taken apart, there's never anything really wrong with this, but it doesn't hurt just to pull it up out of here and make sure it looks okay. Just be really gentle with it. This is to be completely honest with you, I'm not exactly sure what this does. I think it's something to do with the CV part of the car, but this looks good. And you can always put just a little WD on rubber things, and it definitely helps protect it and doesn't really hurt it. All right, let's blow it dry and we'll go from there. Okay. This thing ended up being okay. I blew through it really good. I think it's gonna be just fine. Alright, emulsion tube going in. That's an 8 on it. Snug. Our new 125 jet, which is factory on a TW. Snug little. Just always make sure this little rubber tip feels okay. That one had just a little bit of that crust on it. That's fine though, it feels good and soft. No problem there. Alright, so on our air screw, the way I like to do this, we'll make sure that's good and clean. That looked good. Spring, spacer, metal spacer, O-ring. And always make sure your O-ring looks round and not flattened out. Now, I like to take a little bit of this blue sticky, lube that O-ring up a little bit, and put enough to where it sticks to that spring. You can drop it down in upside down if you want, but I personally always flip the carb up and push it up in there like this. And I even leave it upside down while I tighten the screw. If you put it down in there and it's sticking up, then it's possible that those spacers and O-rings fail. Okay, so let's come out 2 turns. That's fully seated gently. There's 1, 2. Alright, perfect. Now, before we put the bowl on, let's go ahead and put our diaphragm and our needle back in there. Just always make sure down here towards the tip of the needle, you don't ever have any place that you can feel any grooves or scores or anything. Okay. Alright. And this has one way it goes. And you just want to make sure that down in the bore you line up with your emulsion tube. Then you want to go around and make sure that this is pushed down all the way in that groove there. And I always put just a tiniest little bit of Vaseline around that. Not much at all. Alright, this cap only goes one way. And you just want to make sure that these little dowels line up and that your spring goes in that center peg there, like so. And you definitely don't have to tighten these screws as tight as they were from before at all. Push it down into place like so. Down in the groove there. A little bit of Vaseline just to hold it in place and keep it from drying out. I sure do love this stuff here, man. I use it like crazy. Assembly goo. It's mostly for transmissions, but man, for stuff like this, it really works great. Okay, so we'll put our bowl back on. Let's double check everything. Our jets are in place, our floats are good. Actually, we could blow through this and make sure our floats are perfect. I'm glad you guys are getting to see a TW200 carb rebuild. I know I kind of briefly go through it a lot on repairing customers' bikes, and sometimes I don't get too in depth, but at least we got this one redone up good for you guys to see how it all goes down, cleaning the jets when the ethanol gets to it. Alright, good and snug on all these with that good JIS screwdriver I'll drop a link below for. Alright, now we're ready to go back on. A little bit of this blue around the mouth of this carb and inlet and outlet here will make your life so much easier. Helps it seal up as well. Let's get her back on the bike next, guys. Alright. Boot's a little bit of a pain here. Let's see if we can walk it on here like it's supposed to be. Oh yeah, it's just got a little bit of age on it. That's okay. I feel pretty good about it. I'm just so glad we found that ethanol. I was a little bit worried because when I washed the tank it wasn't that bad, and then I thought, well, I must have washed some trash out because it started running perfect, and then nope, turns out we got some pretty bad ethanol corrosion. Okay, alright, moment of truth here. Good fresh fuel, carbs all hooked up. Let's see if it'll start without the choke first. It may not. Oh wow. Well boy, that's gonna be hard to beat it, and it barely turned over. Holy cow. Okay, well, that's good news. Let's let it warm up. If we have to adjust this pilot, we can. The air screw, I mean. but I don't think we're gonna need to. But the true test is, will it rev? That's the true test. Look at there. Hear that? All right, let's see how it sounds in the steady quarter throttle. Perfect. That's what we want to hear. All right, so we can take it off of its IV bottle. I think I'll get a new filter for that, and that'll have it. Man, that's good. Wonder if I should adjust on that just a tad. I think it's pretty good. I don't believe I'll mess with it. I believe that's gonna get by there, guys. I'm pretty happy. All right, now we got a good clear fuel filter on there. Let's see how she sounds now. We'll put her back together and take her for a test drive. All right, let's see how she does. We'll start out with a little rough riding on the field, and then go up the road a little bit. We'll see. So the last time I didn't film the ride around the field, and it quit on me after I got on the throttle pretty hard. So hopefully we got it now. Let's fix this shroud here. I don't know how that came out. Let's fix that. Now then. Oh man, she's running sweet now. As long as we keep that up, we're gonna be good. Got the front brakes feeling pretty good. It had an aftermarket master cylinder on it, and it was just about a clone on the outside of a Japanese one. And you couldn't tell it, just subtle little hints gave it away, and I never could get a real good pedal with it. Logan's been doing some deer scouting around here. He's going to try to get him one this winter when the season opens, fall rather. And I believe it's going to be successful because we've had several nice bucks around the field here. He's been fattening them up. Alright, let's cruise, guys. See how we do make out today. I made sure he was okay with me doing a little extended test drive here. This is 12-mile river right here. Now you guys might not know it, but there was a company that made transformers for power lines, power poles, residential transformers, I believe, and they have an oil in them that contains PCB, which causes cancer in humans. And they let, in the 80s or 90s, they let a lot of that oil in this river. And this river used to be dammed up with big dredge ponds all down through here. And they recently dug out all the dredge ponds and dams, and now it's flowing good, and supposedly it's cleaned up. My whole life pretty much has been dammed up with dredge ponds. There's a little testing station there. Let's see what the bridge looks like. This is ridiculous. This thing's been out for 100 years. Don't even make no sense, man. They sure won't be down here working on it on a Saturday, will they? Public notice. attention to those using 12 Mile Creek for recreation purposes. Let's see what it says. They will be replacing the bridge. Access may be limited. Construction will begin spring of 27. What in the world? Why? Like anything's wrong with this bridge anyway, man. Come on. Get it done. Spring of 27. You got to be kidding me. Man, look at all the trees. Oh boy. Somebody's got it all locked up. You can't make it. You can't make it, man. I should go around it anyway, I guess. Get out of here with a bridge closed. Gotta be kidding me. For 2 more years? Yeah, right. I see some deer right here. Ah, little baby. Look at it. Huh. There it goes. Got loose from its mama. I saw its mom go right up through there. That was cool. A lot of deer when I was a kid. We used to come down through here a lot and see deer at night. Alright guys, this is the beginning of the experimental forest in Clemson. This used to close a lot, but I think they keep it open about all the time now. Let's see what the sign says. Gate closed November 1st through March 15th. Okay. So winter months, I guess. Close to the house, so it's a good test drive. You know, when you got a carbureted bike, you really want to test it on and off road, because jousting around with the flow valve and stuff, you need all kinds of terrain to make sure it's right. Hiding back in there probably. Oh, what is it? Checking out the video here. Hopefully if you have a carburetor overhaul that you need to do on a TW200 or anything similar, all CV carbs are going to be really similar to that rebuild there. Let me share something with you about carb kits. A lot of carb kits are starting to be made in China, and the jet size is not the same. It can be several thousandths of an inch different and can make the bike run poorly. So I'm going to put a link below for a company called Shindy, S-H-I-N-D-Y, I believe, or D-E-Y, yeah, anyway, I'll drop that below. And I'm not affiliated with them by any means, but their kits are made in Japan. They're quality. If you don't do a Shindy kit, I would put my own kit together off of Partzilla OE car. It's going to be a little bit more expensive, and I do not have anything against the Chinese people, but they are not making parts to exact tolerances like they should be. But when you have a small bike like this, a fraction of a thousandth of an inch can make a difference in how this bike runs. So just keep that in mind. A good super cheap carb kit would be okay for the hardware maybe and the O-rings, but even that could be a little subpar. So just a good little piece of tidbit of information. Don't forget to go check out emanualsonline.com and use the link below. If you want a real good factory service manual, you can pick one of those up on there. It helps the channel out tremendously at no extra cost to you, and actually you can get a little bit of a discount if you use that link. So good factory service manuals are hard to beat anymore, and if you can download it right on your phone, you can use it anywhere. Alright guys, listen, I really appreciate each and every one of you. The channel's growing. Make sure you guys go and check out our new Idaho series. I'll put a link below for the playlist. It's titled, I believe, our trip, Idaho trip 2025, or trip out west 2025. Anyway, I'll put the link below for the playlist. Go check it out. This next one we got coming up here is going to be really good. As Cody and I got knackered up on some nasty, gnarly double black diamond single track, or black diamond single track maybe. But go on there and check it out and see if we made it out the other side in one piece. Alright guys, you guys take care. Come back for the next one. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Give me a like down there if you like what you see. And take care. Ride